is the frequency in use. Is frequency in use. Fine business. This is Kilo 4 Papa Echo Whiskey with the Mount Juliet Simplex Radio Net. Is there any emergency or priority travel? All right. If you have an emergency, call 911. If you can't do that, get us on the air and we'll help you out. That may be broken at any time for emergency or priority travel. For information on this net, you can see us right now on YouTube Live. You can look up my call K4PEW at just K4PEW on YouTube, or you can email me at K4PEW@ARRL.net, or you can look on our Yahoo group at what is that? It's on MJ_SS. That's on Yahoo groups. MJ Mike Juliet _Sierra Sierra, or you can look us up on our real website 147415.net. 147415.net. Yeah, it's the only place to go for Simplex. Like this is the only place to go for Simplex at the moment. Alrighty, we got that. All right, Net normally meets at 8 p.m. every Wednesday and Saturday night. We conduct a net on 146.415 FM Simplex, and that's about it. We invite you to use the net to announce amateur radio events, activities, training, and resources for the local community. It's a directed net, and all traffic should be coordinated by net control. That being me. Does anyone have any announcements? The big announcement of the day is tomorrow. Tomorrow morning is the Cedars of Lebanon Ham Fest, and it's at the Cedars of Lebanon Park, south of Lebanon. You can look it up on a map. It's real easy to find. It should be a pretty decent event for a local. It's been doing that for, they've been doing it there for 20 years, 25 years, a long time. So there'll be people there. There'll be vendors there, just for fun time to meet up with old friends and new friends and have a good time. The only other events I have, of course, are the Monday Night Net on the AA4 VU repeater. That's the Vandenberg Amateur Radio Club, 443.800, 443.800, with a plus offset and a tone of 123.0, and it's Tuesdays at 7:30 p.m. And then, of course, our net again on Wednesday. And actually, I think it's 2 weeks from today. Yeah, 2 weeks from Saturday is the next breakfast meeting in Mount Juliet, but you'll have information following. That's on the 8th of September. Any other announcements that we need to know about at this time? All righty, we'll jump right in there. We'll start from the west this time. K4PEW at the Mount Juliet Simplex Net. Do we have any check-ins from the west?
KJ4AXQ.
Hello, Daryl. How are you tonight?
Doing well. Just waiting to see if someone else checked in for me, but no one else did. So.
Well, west can be, a little thin. That's all. I'm not sure why that is exactly, but the west is thin. Hold on. Come on in. I had to tell somebody come in. You can hear that on the YouTube feed.
Hello, Paul.
Hello. All right, you can hear that. The dog's out here, so for those of you that are on the web. Again, you can avoid it by not going to my K4PEW YouTube or Brain Trust, BRAINTRUST on Visitors always get a treat. 4 dogs, as you can tell. At any rate, any other check-ins from the west? Yeah, that's not singing, so it's not Who else we have from the west?
KM4YRS.
Very good, Michael. Mobile again. So you're finished with dinner, I take it?
Yes, sir. I'm almost home.
Ah, very good. We sound good, Mobile, as always. You must be over between Mount Juliet and Belshire.
No, yeah, I'm actually just getting off Nixon Road here, so I'm pretty close to home.
Well, your signal is really very good, Mobile, so I don't know what you're doing on that. What antenna are you using, Mobile?
I just have a 5/8 whip.
Well, it's doing good. All right, very good, Mike. We're glad to have you in there. Hope everybody's enjoying all that noise. I don't. Who else we have west of Julia Road? Please come in. So Charles was complaining about waiting 50 minutes last night, and now he's not there. Early on west. Charles, you out there? Sierra Foxtrot. Well, then he'll look at to come in later if he's there. Very good. Anybody else west of Mount Juliet Road? Please come in. All right, and then we'll go ahead to the north of Lebanon Road, north of Division Street in Mount Juliet. Please come in. Everything north of Mount Juliet. I want to go ahead and check my antenna. North of Mount Juliet, please come in. Nothing. How about over east of Mount Juliet Road? Please come in.
WA4ZHI.
You holding all the people north hostage, are you, James?
I haven't seen one of them.
Boy, they went silent tonight. Now you sound good as always. You doing all right?
Yeah, doing pretty good.
Yeah, it's like a health and welfare net. Everybody checks in and see how we're doing.
Yeah, you're good. Don't show up.
That's right. If you're sick, you don't show up. Oh, by the way, I haven't announced. That's James, Whiskey Alpha 4 Zulu Hotel India, right here in the heart of Mount Juliet. And then prior to that was Michael, Kilo Mike 4, Yankee Romeo Foxtrot. He was mobile, but up near Belshire, where he normally is. And then we had Daryl KJ4, that's Kilo Juliet 4 Alpha X-Ray Quebec. And he was just north of me, northwest of me here in Mount Juliet. Who else we have east of Mount Juliet Road? Please come in.
TE4TWI.
Here west. How did that football game come out last night?
We won pretty big. Hey, a lot of people might be at the fair tonight. Probably why attendance is low here.
All right. We'll live. So what was the big blowout? Tell me.
We beat Overton pretty bad, but not much to tell. We're playing Lebanon next week.
So what was the score?
36-0.
Well, that's only half as good as last week.
We were actually literally taking bets on the, not literally, just sort of how they were going to beat them.
Yeah, you were taking bets that had no payouts, is what you're saying. They're literal bets, but nobody pays off.
Actually, I think one of us, I lost a bet last week, so I promised to buy my buddy pizza if he got the literal score, which he did. He actually got 63-0. We predicted that in the first half, so I had to buy some pizza.
How could a guy pick that score 63 exactly?
He did. I don't know. I just wanted to say, I was like, yeah, sure, I'll take it. Anyway, we'll see who else checks in tonight. KE4TW.
All right, very good, Wes. Yeah, sometimes it's late comers and then they come in later. So I don't know. We'll find out. That's Wes, Kilo Echo 4, Tango Whiskey India in. Are you mobile or are you? Well, no, today's Saturday, so you're home. You're home, right?
I am.
All right, yeah. He's Wes is just a little bit northwest of Watertown with a good signal tonight. Who else we have east of Mount Juliet Road? Who's coming?
Hey, I'm George Green. Oh.
I think we got a double or a triple, but we're taking Stan first. Good evening, Stan. You sound good.
Good evening, Paul. How you doing?
I am doing pretty dandy. Haven't done too much today, but that's my goal when you're retired. You don't want to work too hard.
Yeah, me either. I was trying to scrounge up a few things to maybe take to the ham test to try and find a new home for tomorrow.
Oh, did you get a table over there, did you, Stan?
No, I don't think you really have to have a table. I think it's more of a tailgate kind of thing.
Oh, that's right. That one you just show up for. I forgot. You don't have to buy anything. Yeah, that's cool. I'm glad to hear it. I'll have to bring some stuff and put on your tailgate.
No, I don't have a tailgate. I was going to bring one of those folding tables and set a few things up on it.
See, so you did buy a table. This wasn't recently.
Roger. Oh, when I got it at Academy, I think, before I got it.
Very good. All right, Stan, good to hear you in there. Appreciate you being there. That's Stan, Kilo Mike 4, Hotel Quebec Echo. He is just north, just barely north of downtown Lebanon. What, who else we have south, east of Mount Juliet?
Kilo India 4, Sierra India Bravo.
Very good. Somebody else got to check in on that. I only have one viewer that I can tell here on YouTube. There's got to be more. I don't think. How you doing, Richard?
Oh, I'm fine, and a lot of guys east tonight, and I'm glad to hear that. Hope everybody had a good day and stay cool. Turn it back to Net. Have a great time. Thank you. KI4SIB.
Yeah, Friday was kind of nice, moderate temperatures, and then today was another 90-degree day.
Oh, yeah, another scorcher, but I hope milder days are coming.
Well, as I used to say in Florida, I hate summer. Well, you know, what I like most about summer is what I said most of the time. I like most about summer, fall's a coming.
Down there, you probably couldn't tell the difference much.
Oh, you'd be surprised. It got as low as 18 one winter, like one January, and I said, what the heck did I move to Florida for?
Hey.
Very good, Richard. You sound good. You're at the QTH tonight?
Yes, sir, I am.
All right, I just want to make sure. That's Kilo India 4, Sierra India Bravo, with his infamous J-pole in Lebanon. Who else? East of Mount, or north, excuse me. Yeah, east of Mount Juliet Road. Please come. Another double, but I'll hear Kevin first. Kevin, you sound funny on a double, but not normally.
Yeah, probably got the antenna pointed in another direction. I didn't, like I said this afternoon, I worked on it a little bit, and I pulled it back down to take one off, and I didn't get it calibrated right, so I'm probably off a few thousand degrees. But yeah, not a whole lot going on, Paul. You know, same old stuff, different day. Hope everybody out there is doing well, and man, everybody I've heard so far, everybody that's checked in so far sounds really good. Really good. Y'all take care out there. We'll talk to you here in a short. KG4 MIZ.
Yeah, very good. You know, all you have to do is point it toward the sunset, and you're going to hit me, man. You ought to know that.
Yeah, I do, but you know, when I'm twisting it around and I got the numbers, I got them in my head where I think that they should be, and it seems to be off because I don't know, it just seems to be off for some reason, and I need to get out there tomorrow, I guess, and draw it out again, and so I can paste it or tape it up on the little light here above my head.
All right. Well, it's probably off because you're probably off. Good to have you in there, Kevin. It's K4PEW. That was Kevin, KG4. That's Kilo Golf 4. Mike, India Zulu in Lebanon, just a little bit west of downtown Lebanon. Who else do we have east of Mount Juliet?
W4EAO.
Whiskey 4, Echo Alpha Oscar. Oh, now you're going to throw me a curve. My memory went blank on the name.
Okay, this is the Wilson Amateur, or the Wilson County WEMA team out here at the fairgrounds. Paul, this is Bill, KK4W.
Yeah, the name, that's what threw me. The name and the call don't match, so my brain gets, actually it's a hit and run when it goes in.
I did that on purpose, you know that. I've been waiting all night to do this.
In fact, I had actually forgotten that EAO was the Wilson Emergency Operations Center. It should be Wilson. It should be Wilson. What is it? Operate. WOC would be good.
Yeah, I think they put it on here as W4 EAO for like emergency amateur operations.
Okay, I don't like it, but hey, it's your guys' station, and it's the county's, not mine. So it sounds good. Appreciate it, Bill. You sound good. Is the station working up to speed 100% all these days now?
All but the HF. HF is a little on the negative side. We've got we're using a Eagle One, and it's just not performing real well.
I thought the Eagle One was pretty good from what I'd heard.
Yeah, I think what it is a grounding issue. I put some counterpoise on it tonight, and it helped it. It brought the standing wave down. It was running about 3 to 1. Now that's about 2 to 1. We also have a tuner. We're using actually WW4 BEE's Go Box, and he's got an auto tuner that's down.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you'll work out the details. You got a lot of good people over there to manage it.
Oh, roger that. Definitely. Yep, that's the whole purpose of it, and getting over here and testing it. So, yeah, everything's good. Good hearing you, Paul.
Well, good hearing you, Bill. Throwing me a curve like that, man. Make me think I got my second dose of Alzheimer's.
nah, yeah, I wish I had half your memory, man.
Yeah, I actually don't keep notes. Sometimes I look back, sometimes. I try to remember them without looking, so you know how that goes.
Oh, definitely so. All right, I'm gonna jump out of here. 7-3, Paul. Good hearing you in there tonight, and we're busy out here. We got a lot going on. Last night of the fair, it's a hopping. Come on out if anybody wants to come on out. Come on out.
All righty. I don't know. It's hard to drag 2 wheelchairs and my wife out at the same time, but but that isn't going to happen. I'm going to tell you right now, unless you come and pick them up.
Roger that. Anyway, we'll chat with you later. Take her easy.
Yeah, very good, Bill. Glad you could check in from the fairgrounds, and I guess it's is it a Red Cross tent or just the first aid tent? What do you guys call them?
Yeah, it's the WEMA Medical Center out here. We've got a trailer. It's a large permanent facility. I don't know. I think it's like a mobile housing or something, but it's out here all year round. A lot of people might remember it being where we had our field day this year.
Oh yeah, great. Well, it sounds good, but you sound good out there. Which antenna? Oh, you said from the trailer has its own antenna, doesn't it?
And we're actually using a J-pole on there for the VHF UHF, so in the Eagle One for the HF.
Okay, very good. All right, very good. We'll catch you later. And of course, that was Bill, Whiskey 4 Echo Alpha Oscar from the Wilson County Fairgrounds from the first aid tent. I'm sure he's having a great time trying to throw me a curve to make me feel like I'm dumb or forgetful or no memory. Who else do we have east of Mount Juliet Road? Please come down. East of Mount Juliet. All right, south of I-40, please come down.
KE4SYV.
Well, there's one man who ain't at the fair.
That's right, but I could hear him.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, you doing all right, Larry? Sound good.
Yeah, Paul doing good, and I could copy the guy at the fairgrounds.
Yeah, I would expect you would. You know, I just as a course just popped into my mind. Kevin and I had checked into the let's see, what's the name of that net? I want to say Cracker, but it's not Cracker. It's Dixie Traders Net over at the K4, whatever that is, over there in Crossville. Crossville? Did I get that right, Kevin? Crossville?
Yeah, it's Crossville.
I told you I get it confused. Crossville. So I wasn't sure the distance. It's like 90 miles from my house to Crossville. I think I could hit that with a handheld.
All right, man. Seems like we might be a little short on folks today.
Oh, that's all right. It's funny. I was listening to that. I don't usually get on nets on repeaters. I just don't. It's not that I don't want to or don't. I don't. And anyway, on that net, I happen to notice one of the things that happens, and it's a personal preference, but I hate when people tell me, not hate them. I hate when they say, "Hey, just calling in to give you another number." I don't want a number. I want people. We want. It just sounds like you're satisfying okay, here's another quarter, man. You know what I'm getting? It just sounds silly to me.
Oh yeah, man. Well, we'll let you get on with it and see what we come out with. KE4SYV.
Yeah, Larry, it's all good. Whether there's 12 or 30, I'm happy. It doesn't matter one way or the other, truthfully. As long as people who check in are doing good for themselves. Hey, who else south of 40, please come on.
WF4EBX.
Might have been another station in there. So hold on. I'm taking Eddie first. That's Whiskey 4 Echo Bravo X-Ray. How you doing, Eddie?
Doing pretty good. Pretty good. Just haven't got much done today, but I guess you get used to that when you get in our age group. So maybe I'll see some of y'all in the morning at the Cedars Fest and give you another people to check in. How about that?
Yeah, very good, Eddie. Yeah, you know how you avoid that issue about, you said you didn't get much done today. If you make out a list the previous day, just a running list of all the things that should be done, and then you know exactly what to avoid.
Yeah, I've been doing that for several years now.
Yeah, and your wife has a list too, I bet you.
No, she's not too pushy, so I'm kind of glad of that.
Ah, so you're used to somebody not being pushy. That's horrible because it's like a relationship that she doesn't push, you don't do, so nothing gets done.
You know, I really hadn't thought about it that way.
No, it's really true. When you have pressure, it's like I'm sure there were things like that in your working life. Because nobody was bitching that thing didn't get done for a while until somebody complained. Oh yeah, we'll get that done.
Yeah, I guess I'm kind of like a magnet, opposing poles.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, I think you get some stuff done though. I do too. Not a whole lot some days. Today wasn't a good one for getting stuff done. I did put some air in the tires though in my car. That was a big accomplishment. All right, who else do we have? Let's see, where were we? South of 40, please come in. And by the way, that was Eddie, Whiskey 4 Echo Bravo X-Ray. Eddie here in Mount Juliet, just a little east of Mount Juliet, actually behind 4 miles east of Providence. Before that was Larry, Kilo Echo 4 Sierra Yankee Victor. He is in Rockville. Did I miss somebody? Yeah, okay, we're going next. Who else south of 40?
Kilo Delta 4 Zulu Jockey. Yeah, 4 NDN.
All right, hold on, David. I have Kilo Delta 4 Zulu Golf Yankee Ed in Shelbyville.
Yes, sir. Good evening, everyone on the net there. Good evening, Paul. Man, everybody's sounding real good. Larry, my radio couldn't have any more bars on. He was at it full scale across it coming back. I must be directly on his return antenna. But anyway, everybody's sounding good tonight.
Oh, good. It sounds good to me as well. It's really funny how conditions can get so wacky, even on 2 meters. I know I was talking to Steve up in north of Bowling Green this morning, and our signals between each other, we had to give up because it was so, well, it just wasn't good. And sometimes it's just fine. It's an S2, S3. And this morning it was S0.
Yeah, that does make it. I think a lot of that does with the moisture in there, but I may be wrong on that. But Eddie had a good signal coming in here too. But Larry was something about his signal. The bars was all the way across. I'll let you have it back here. Don't have a whole lot to say. We've had a good day here and had the family down tonight for supper. And man, I'm sitting on cloud 9 with all my grandchildren here tonight. Y'all have a good night. I'll turn it back to you, Katie, for ZQI.
Yeah, we can't ask for a better day than that. Having dinner with your extended family and all your grandkids around, it's always a good day. Who else? Oh, yeah, we had David in there. David.
Yeah, good evening, sir. I believe your turncoat. You have used that R word in here several times. Do you have a cuss jar that costs you $1 R word? Oh.
Which cuss word did I use?
The R word. I'm not going to say it. You're going to charge me $1. I know.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're right. We ought to have a charge for that. Except I'm exempt. No, it's. I didn't say that they were useless. I just find that they're little used. And last night, I was just using an analogy on that net last night. They had 65 check-ins. And I thought, wow, that is awesome. But it's a linked repeater system that goes all the way from East Tennessee to, I don't know, to here at least. There were check-ins in Sevierville and Maryville and Knoxville and down into Chattanooga, and I think some in Kentucky. And 65 check-ins. I thought that's pretty good. But then You figure if we had 29 check-ins on a Simplex net, 65 doesn't sound that good on a linked repeater net. You know what I'm saying? There should be twice as many as that, or 3 times as many.
Yes, sir. I think I've heard that, Ned. Very interesting, Ned. And you reminded me of something. If you're exempt from that, my buddy, he's dead and gone now, but that a judge told him that he was exempt from prosecution. And my buddy told him, yeah, but you're not exempt from a 12-gauge shotgun.
No, that's right. No, we have fun with that, really. In fact, I was considering putting a change on the website to say there's a hierarchy in ham radio. And that hierarchy, to my mind, at least to my simplistic thinking, was at the top of that hierarchy in ham radio, not people, but at the top of the hierarchy is HF. That's the monster of the midway in amateur radio, 160 all the way to 6. And then down from that is a subculture. It's a small one, though, and that would be the satellite guys, moon bounce, meteor scatter, really low signal, really low signal work. And then beneath that, to me, is simplex. And then down in the pit of hell is the repeaters.
Yes, sir. By the way, QRP, I'm on 5 watts or less. So I do appreciate what you do, sir. Carry on. Have a good one. Have a great everyone out there. KI4NBN.
Yeah, well, your 5 watts got you about S6 into my station tonight.
That's interesting. Kevin had at one time a stronger signal than you did. I thought he would appreciate hearing that. Sounds really good.
Well, that's only because he has really, really strong breath. That's called hamatosis.
Carry on, Paul. Thank you, sir. Good evening.
Didn't want to touch that one, did you? No, Kevin is just an overpowering voice and system over there. And I think his antenna was probably pointed right at you since he said it was off. His beam was off. All right, who else we got south of 40? That was David, Kilo, India 4, November, Tango, November, and he is in Reedyville. Anybody else south of 40?
Kilo, Mike 4, November, Yankee, Bill.
Yay, Bill. That was Kilo, Mike 4, November, Yankee. How you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm doing just fine. It'll be fine until winter gets here, and then it'll still be good.
Yeah, it just gets a little more comfortable to go outside and mess around. That's the good part about winter in the South.
Yeah, it beats the Tampa you're always talking about, I suppose.
Tampa had its moments. Even in the summer, it seemed that, Tampa was weird because it never got over 99, according to the National Weather Service. But you don't want to stand out in the sun because you'll get cooked alive, just like here if you're going to stand out in the sun in the summer. But there's a lot of that. And then to top it off, there was a lot of days where it was average summer temperatures, probably 87, 88, 89. But it's still, that sun just cooked you. The cars were hotter than they seem to be here when you get in and park. And, it was just in the lawns would dry out completely in the early part of the spring, late spring, early summer before it started to rain, and the place looked like it was going to become a desert. It's just not I think Tennessee's better, Bill.
Yeah, my parents used to live about a mile from Busch Gardens, so I'm somewhat familiar with it.
Ah, yes. Yeah, my first rental house was Busch Gardens started at 30th and Busch Boulevard, and I lived on 26th Street, about one house off of Busch Boulevard. So I'm very familiar with everything around Busch Gardens.
Yeah, well, a lot of us probably are. I better let this go so somebody else can get in here and talk to you a couple minutes. I'll be clear then.
Yeah, very good, Bill. That's Bill, Kilo Mike 4, November Yankee, and he is in Murfreesboro. Anybody else out of 40?
Kilo November 4, Alpha Juliet Lima.
Hello, Bob. You sound good, just like you did earlier this evening.
Yeah, I got off here and after we talked there a little bit and eaten me a big meal and laid down and took a nap. Woke up just in time for the nap.
When I was a kid, I saw my elders, and I say my elders, usually my grandparents, grandparents and they're my great uncles, and they'd eat, and everybody seemed to take a nap sitting either at a picnic or in their home. They'd be sitting there just dozing. I always wondered what that was for, and then I realized when I got older, that's exactly what you do after you have a big nap.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I'm no different, Paul. I always wondered the same thing, and now here I am doing the same thing.
Yeah, you got to conserve energy in order to digest that food. You can't do two things at once: be active and digest food.
Yeah, I copied that. I think you're right. Well, there's probably some other check-ins out there, and I don't want to hold up the show, so carry on. KN4 AJL.
Yeah, very good. That was Bob, Kilo November 4, Alpha Juliet Lima, and he is in Rockville, right?
Las Casas.
I always want to say Rockville. I don't know why. Las Casas. Someday I'll remember that. I'll just have to put that L stands for Las Casas. How's that? Very good. Who else we got south of 40?
Oh, hearing nothing. K1SPD.
Very good. You're Sweet 16 tonight, the 16th. Scott, you doing all right?
It's one more than HF contacts today. Thank you.
Yeah, very good. What were you doing on HF?
Oh, I was just, wait a minute. I don't want to say what you said. Just giving numbers for Ohio and Kansas, and a couple other state QSO parties.
Oh, very good. I understand there's a Tennessee QSO party coming up, too.
I just read an email on that. I can't remember when I think it's in September, isn't it?
I think so. Same day as the breakfast.
Okay. And I was going to make it to the Cedars tomorrow, but I drove today and I don't need to be driving. So maybe a few more days.
So you gave it a try and you didn't want to anymore, huh?
Well, it's just not fully healed incision-wise, let's put it that way.
Yeah, I remember when I had surgery. It wasn't the kind of surgery you had, but I had abdominal surgery 30 years ago. And they said, yeah, you need to stay off your feet, don't drive. And I forget what they said, 2 weeks or something like that before you go back to work. And I was getting antsy at a week into it. I said, I can go back to work. And I had a friend of mine pick me up from work, and one of my coworkers, and pick me up. And I felt so bad at noon. I was begging him, and they took me home because I felt like crap.
Yeah, I just don't feel like ripping anything open. Noticed it a little today, but now I think I'll let the wife do the driving for a few more days. All right, well, carry on there. K1SPD.
Yeah, very good. Of course, that was Scott, Kilo 1 Sierra Papa Delta with a great signal from Laverne. Anybody else out of the 40? Well, then we'll start taking the late check-ins, if any. We had almost nothing from the north of Lebanon Road, north of Division Street. Did any of those people come into the fray here?
WY4G. KB9RKK.
Hold on, Frank. I had Jeff in there for us. Jeff in there first. That's Whiskey Yankee 4 Golf. How you doing tonight?
WY4JUL. Good evening. I'm doing okay. Just tired, busy day. And Paul, I think I decided on that diamond antenna I sent you an email about, but when I'll get it sometime in the future. But it should improve my reception and outgoing signal. So I'm sure that'll be a big help to me.
Yeah, coming into me, you're 20 over on to my station, so you're doing well. But it's amazing. We were having that conversation with Richard over in Lebanon. He's got a push-up pole quite high, and he said he couldn't hear a certain station. And I said, well, it wasn't yours or somebody else's. And I said that was John over in Bellevue, and I said he's doing 90 watts and he's got the same antenna I do. He says I can't hear him. I said no. I said your dumpy old J pole ain't cutting it.
Yeah, well, you and maybe 1 or 2 other stations are the only ones I can hear. The rest of it's just silent. So, like I said, I'm down in a hole, and once I get a better antenna mounted, it should improve reception anyway.
Well, I think it will. I think you'd be surprised. And of course, if you can get it up any higher, that's, you know, one of the super keys to it. I was surprised. I perceived, although I may not be correct, that when I raised my antenna another about 8 or 10 feet, it seemed to make a big difference. Now, whether it was just something in my mind, I can't really tell, but because I don't remember having it. In other words, everybody who checks into this net, I can hear very well. Even if, you know, the farther stations, of course, there'll be S2 or S3 on certain days, but you know what I'm saying? So it's hard for me to discern whether raising it that much made a difference. But I'm sure in your case it will, since you're sitting down in kind of a hole.
Yeah, I have another probably a 10-foot section of pipe I can stick down into the current pipe I have up now and raise up some more. So that would help a little bit, but you know, I just gotta get the antenna first.
Yeah, I know that. It's well, but the bad part about it is it's all work.
Yeah, I do too much of that as it is, but I'll get to it, you know, eventually, and if it's taken care of. Just when, I don't know, but it'll be eventually.
All right, good enough, Jeff. I got distracted there for a moment. My wife was taking off to go do something. She was giving me the wave. I'm shocked the dog hasn't started barking. We got a new dog, and he gets all upset every time one of us leaves, or she does, I should say, little baby. All right, Jeff, appreciate you having in. That's Jeff, Whiskey Yankee 4 Golf, and he's in Madison. The good signal to me. Kevin, how do you copy? Are you still there? How do you copy Jeff? Anybody? Who doesn't? Somebody copy Jeff?
I had a good copy on me, Paul.
Okay, well, he's in Madison, so you're not too much of a shock. But is there any other stations that were copying Jeff?
Well, obviously, he's really strong to me up here in the north side, maybe not RKK.
Okay, very good. I just want to make sure. I just want to see who all was here. And is anybody else who was south or east of Mount Juliet that was copying Jeff? Either everybody left or nobody heard you, but that's not a good sign. It's just a good sign that, you know, it's a sign that says the signal's not getting as far as you'd like it to. So anyway, because a lot of people, both east of me and south of me, are lower and farther, you know, so it's not like it's a sin, Jeff, but you're right. You're in a hole, so that creates a problem. So very good. Who else? Late check-ins, please come down. Oh, that's right. I heard Frank.
Good evening, Paul.
Give me a call one more time, Frank.
Kilo Bravo 9, Romeo, Kilo.
All right, I'm going to ask the dumb question. Did you ever think of changing your call to a 4?
I thought about it, but I don't know. My original one.
Yeah, I know. It's hard to give it up. I didn't care at the time. I don't remember why I didn't care, but no, the 9 calls, like, you know, the only problem with those other calls is that, you know, the other numbers is it throws. I know you're here, but did you ever get on the system and somebody says, I didn't say the word, and somebody says you're just passing through?
Yeah, I know it's for HF, it gets a little confusing for DX stuff.
Yeah, it's funny though, but it shouldn't, because you figure overseas, they know all of our numbers and they don't ask you what part of the country you're in, so it doesn't really matter ultimately.
No, just stateside stuff. I was going to tell you yesterday at lunchtime, I think you were talking, I think to Kevin and Richard. I heard you all the way in Murfreesboro in the mobile.
Oh, yeah. No, it's pretty good for most places down there in Murfreesboro and Smyrna and Antioch going south. Yeah, it's fun to be able to get the signal out that far. How are you copying? You should have been copying Kevin pretty good, too.
I got him when I got about to 840. I started hearing him. But I heard you down a few miles, like by Main Street.
Yes. Yeah, it's amazing, really. I appreciate that signal report. It's kind of, I don't know if scary is the right word, but I can't imagine how many people can hear me, you know, so because I know it goes up into Kentucky, and I'm not sure how far it goes east, unless you got a beam. You know, well, for instance, anybody who's got the elevation out east, I can hit, Crossville easily. And, out west, I don't know how far I go west. I really don't have a good handle on that. Maybe I'll do some kind of test somehow. On the beam, I was able to hit about 200 miles under conditions going up into western Kentucky. So, like I said, it's kind of scary on 2 meters, realizing you go that far. Now here comes a crying baby dog.
Yeah, no, it's and native sideband. If you were using sideband, oh my God.
Yeah. For those of you that are watching YouTube, I got 2 dogs on my chair. I don't know if you can see them. Shush. All right. Anyway, I got a chihuahua on my lap. You can just see the top of his head in the YouTube thing. All right, Frank. Appreciate you being here. That's Kilo Bravo 9 Romeo Kilo Kilo. You're not out at the fairgrounds tonight.
No. I was working on stuff at the house here and took a look at the time. I was like, oh well, I missed it. But if you're still on there, I'll get late. I'll get the late check-ins, and I made it.
All right, very good. Appreciate you being there, Frank. And that's Frank Kilo Bravo 9 Romeo Kilo Kilo. And he doesn't have any squeals or cries. And he's in Northwest Wilson County. Who else? Late check-ins, please come on.
KN4CCQ.
There we go. Preston, how you doing tonight?
Shoot, man, can't complain. I need to be over at the fair, sounds like.
I have, I've been here this is my 7th year here, and I have not been to that fair once.
I've been a couple times, maybe 3. It's a pretty good time over there. Yeah, a lot of things to eat. I'll say that.
Well, that's partly the problem. Most of all, I enjoy the agricultural exhibits. My wife and her mother are city people, so they see me there and they go, "What the heck is wrong with you?" I go up and scratch cows' heads and talk to animals. They think I'm nuts.
Copy that. Time to get over here at nightfall. 73's out that way. KN4CCQ.
Yeah, we got Preston. That's Kilo November 4, Charlie, Quebec. And he's in Possum Trot. Who else? Late check-in. Please come now.
Whiskey 4 Alpha Whiskey Echo.
Hey, John. Did you hear me use your name in vain earlier?
No, I got in here late and didn't know if you had called for West yet or not.
Yeah, I did, but there wasn't much out there. No, there was a couple of 3 guys on West. No, I was one of the guys, Richard, who's in Lebanon, and he just moved to an apartment recently, and he's got a push-up pole that they permitted to put him up, but they permitted him to put up, and he's got a J pole on the, 30 or 40 feet up, so it's not like it's got no elevation. And he says, I heard you talking to that guy out in, West Nashville. And I said, well, that would be John. And he goes, I can't hear him. I said, well, John's running about 90 watts and he's got the same antenna as me. He goes, what? And I can't hear him? I said, yeah, what do you want for a J-pole, man?
Yeah, I've never been a real big fan of J-poles. They're nice in that you can build one really easily, but it's really minimal gain, and it's hard to beat those big vertical fiberglass antennas.
Well, when you figure, for the sake of argument, I put together a Super J-pole a few years ago. And even with a Super J-pole, if you look it up, the gain technically isn't more than, I don't think it's more than 1.2. Ultimately, it's probably, a 1. It's a unity gain, I think. But the point I'm making is that if I spend $10 or $20 on copper pike and rosin, and I could just as easily spend $100 on an inexpensive vertical that would do 6 or 7 dB gain. Why would I use a J-pole?
Yeah, and another thing people really don't think about, it's like the really big diamond that you and I are using. The thing only weighs 8 pounds, and I'm getting away with, I've got a pretty heavy steel mast with no guy wires, but there's so little loading on it, it's easily, you can get that up really high.
Oh, yeah, I agree. That I'm not even sure it weighs 8, John. I think it weighs less than 7, if I remember correctly. But you're right, though. The problem with that antenna is the cost. That $390 round numbers. That scared me off for 12 years.
Oh yeah, totally understandable. It just, finally,
you know, I used to do a lot of reloading, and, you know, it's just one of those things where you start realizing how many times have I built different antennas and put them up. Why don't I just do one and let that be it?
Yep. No, I agree. It's you know why? Because we're cheap. That's why.
Yeah, live and learn.
Yeah, I say that. You know, we think, well, I can get by. Well, you can't get by because there's two things you can't do. You can't make an inefficient antenna efficient, and you can't make a low antenna high without doing something about it. And that's really the trouble is you have to. And it took me, I'm a slow learner, I guess, and so are a lot of hams. It's got to go, oh my gosh, now I got a dog on my desk. You know, you have to just bite the bullet and realize that if you want a good system, you're gonna have to spend the money right up front, or at least save up to get a good antenna.
Yeah, you know, there's an interesting lesson if you start watching or reading some of those PowerPoint presentations like they do at Contest University up at Dayton every year. The one lesson that comes out of all those lectures over and over, number one on the list is if you don't have much money, spend it all on the antenna first.
Yep, you're right. All on the antenna, because you could actually, and I've kind of proven it with, you know, with just 5 watts and a great antenna at a great height, you can talk. Let's put it this way: I went down to less than a watt on this antenna. It's at a good height, and gosh, I forget how far we went, but there were the guys. Well, Kevin had me, you know, 20 over in Lebanon with less than 1 watt, and that's 15 miles.
Yeah, and the other thing, of course, we don't keep track of it, but I know over time, if I summed up all the little piddling antenna projects I've tried and done, if you summed all those up, it would have paid for 2 of these diamonds.
Yes, I know. Don't remind me how dumb I am. All right, son?
No, but I think that's just part of the process. You know, it made it a lot more fun getting here.
I say so, but then you end up with a whole stack of antennas you aren't using anymore.
Yeah, you know, the other thing that is surprising, I mean, I wasn't able to exactly A-B it, but that shorter diamond I had, the 510 that I had up for a couple of months, it's, you know, what they say on paper, and diamonds usually really accurate in their specifications. They only show a 1 dB difference in that antenna. I can't honestly say there's a difference in that one and this one.
No, and the only way you'd know that is if, let's say I could go out, you know, 40 miles and see how you received on both of those from the same height. That would be the key.
Yeah, and it's not really apples and oranges because when I put the 700 up, I went ahead and changed the diameter of the push-up pole and went up another 12 feet.
Yeah, well, you're right. Again, if you've got the elevation, and in your case, well, the real issue to me is, and it's probably only partially right, and that's that, you know, that 510 from the same elevation is probably just going to do. I could probably get away with a 510 at this height and this QTH elevation. I'm not sure that anybody noticed the difference. And because that 9.3, like I told you, the difference between that, what do you call it, the UVS 300 made by OPEC, it said it was 8.3, and this is 9.3. Well, the 9.3 on Diamond's numbers, I think, are valid. Or maybe they're being conservative, and it's really not 9.3, it's 11.3, because the difference was so astounding, I couldn't believe it.
That was my same experience. I had one of those 17-foot OPECs, and that's exactly the same design as the Diamond 510, but they were night and day different. Going from, I mean, I had water problems the SWR would start changing. It was, the last time I took it down, all kinds of water was coming out of it, and I had, drain holes.
Yeah, I think those come pre-charged with water.
It just was really not very good quality construction.
No, in fact, the Diamond construction and design makes OPEC look like, makes it look like Chinese.
Yeah, these diamonds were remind me more of, like nautical, marine antennas.
Well, I'd say yes to that, but the marine antennas I saw were in the Navy, and they were all made of really, really, really heavy steel.
Yeah, well, I should say pleasure boat marine.
Yeah, very good. Oh, yeah, the ones we had, you can barely lift them. They're so big.
Yeah, your signal's booming in over here.
Very good, John, as is yours. We got matching antennas, and you got almost twice as much power as I do. But yeah, you came in real good tonight, John. Anybody else? Late check-ins, and I appreciate checking in, John, with that little discussion. That's Whiskey 4 Alpha Whiskey Echo, and he is in Bellevue. See, I remember it, John. Who else? Late check-ins, please come up. No more late check-ins before we move on to the lurkers, sandbaggers, lollygaggers, and scanner listeners. Well, okay, then we're moving on to the lurkers, sandbaggers, lollygaggers, and scanner listeners. Of course, scanner listeners have to knock on my door or send me an email or a text or send me a QSO card. Nobody? No late check-ins? All right. Well, as you know, the procrastinators have to check in later, after midnight tomorrow or anytime tomorrow. You guys have a great night. We had a grand total of 20. I had an early check-in. I don't know if you count 21, but 20 is good. 20 is a good number. All good numbers. I don't mind one way or the other. Whoever's checking in is getting something out of it, and I'm sure there's listeners who get something out of it. I know I get something out of it. So, all right, you guys have a great night, and here it is, 8:51. 51 minutes after the hour, almost 52. And we'll guys catch you later. This is K4PEW 73 on the net, and I'll be around for a little while. Closing down on that, K4PEW.
That's okay. I don't have anything for sale.
Oh, we could do the sale if anybody's got anything. No, I forgot of that. How did you mention that, Scott? I wrote that down too. Boy, what a memory. Anybody have anything to buy, sell, swap, trade, or swindle? Anybody, anywhere? I know that Robin still has Roan Tower parts available, and Scott's looking for anything he thinks is a good deal. Doesn't sound like it. I guess everybody's waiting for tomorrow for the Cedars of Lebanon. I don't know that anybody makes big bucks at the Ham Fest, except for maybe people make signs and ham call ID badges.
Yeah, that's the one. You talk about the Huntsville. I went to that one several years back, and I was more impressed with the one over at Wilson County this year.
Well, Huntsville, I noticed when I was there last week that the biggest lines and numbers of people were at the where they made license plates and name tags, and the other one was at the food.
Yep, that's what I saw. My son and buddy his went to Dayton one year, and he was not impressed at all with that.
Well, it depends on what you're there for. I think if you're there to pick up parts and pieces and you see some stuff you hadn't seen before, and I mean, I didn't buy a darn thing, but yet I got a kick out of seeing the new some of the newer equipment and some of the flex systems, the SDR stuff, and that was fun to take a close look at that I hadn't seen up close at all ever. And also, what else? Just some things that were available, and that by itself is fun, but it's 4 hours round trip to have that fun.
Yep, sure. All right, I'm gonna run down and catch the news. We'll talk to you later, Paul. Good night. K1S.
Yep, very good. Anybody else with a buy, sell, swap, swindle, or trade? Does anybody want any free stuff? Or they got free stuff to give away? All righty. Well, I'm closing out the net again. 73 K4PE. There you go. Almost an hour. We'll catch you later. You guys have a good one.